Good morning, everybody. It is Sunday the 14th. I'm going to do a recap of, I'm just going to talk in general about it's something that I haven't talked about. So, when the accident happened, happy Sunday, by the way. When the accident happened, I had put in my a 2 weeks resignation with my current company. And that was primarily because it's a really good company. I was doing a lot of different things as a civil engineer. At that company, it was a soils engineering and life science company, consultant company. So that means is that anytime someone goes to build somewhere, they need us to tell you if you can build on the soil that is going to be below your building, or if you're going to do basements and stuff like that. You need to know um, whether you can build. I also did roadway pavement evaluations. So sometimes when people go to construct new roads, there's obviously mixed design used, and sometimes that fails prematurely or the integrity doesn't hold out. So they hire me to assess it and then come up with a new what's the word? A remedy, so to speak. Or so, anyways, that's part of my job. Or another part of my job was to oversee construction projects, make sure they're built per standards. So I represent the owner typically on that one, and then also construction litigation, defect litigation, which means post construction when things are coming up or things are failing, or the client has an issue with the final product. They can sue. So usually when they sue, they have to have experts. So as an engineer, we're brought in for that. Anyways, the reason I brought that up is because a part of, before the accident, I was doing all those different things, and that's a lot. Usually when my deadlines hit, I'll be writing soils reports, which are the design reports that people used to build. I'd be writing those, and then I'd have to be doing construction projects. But construction is literally, you're on the phone constantly. People are calling you, you've got your text, you've got to make sure that things are getting tested properly, you've got standards. It's constant. So, and then litigation, it hits thousands of pages, writing reports, and you have to go in front of attorneys. And in my case, I'm not the expert on those, so I would have to go through people who are going to sign the report, and then they need lead time to be able to have time to read the report properly. It was crazy, to be honest with you. I was working like crazy, and I'm not someone who bases my work too much around money, but when your work-life balance is totally off and you're spending weekends in the office all the time, and it seems like other people are just not. And also, something that I had a huge problem with is that the owner of that company used to get involved with litigation projects, and I became the middle person between the person stamping the report and the owner was almost trying to take out the person stamping the report, which, to be honest with you, I'm not a spring chicken in this. If I was signing a report, I would want to make sure I'm well involved in what's going into it. And so, my boss, who managed the offices for a long time, has been working for that company, I think, for about 20 years, 25 years. Anyways, I didn't feel comfortable doing that. So I didn't want to take him out of the loop. He was the one signing it. And ethically, I didn't feel okay with that. So, long story short, that was a very strange place to be in between an owner who doesn't want the person signing the report to be involved. And it was tricky. And you know what was going to happen? I was going to be the one to get the boot if something went wrong. And so, between working too many hours, being very stressed out, not having any work-life balance, and then also just this impending fear that I was going to be put into a situation that was not favorable to my long-term career at the company, I just put in my resignation. So anyways, the resignation Um, the person who offered me a job had worked previously at this firm for 7 years, my previous firm for 7 years. He understood all of that, or what I thought, he understood all of the um, obstacles when he was an employee, and he had a similar experience to me at that company. So, and he knew that. He's been working there 7 years. I had only been working there 2.5, so, or 2, I think. So anyways, he'd offered me a job, left to go to a different engineering firm. He had been able to start their geotechnical group, and he wanted me to come and work for him. He'd been talking to me since he left. Our crossover at the previous firm was only about 6 months, so he'd been trying to get me to leave for about 1.5 years. I didn't, I was fine where I was, and then when everything started getting out of control towards the end, I said, okay, I'm interested in what you have to say, and so that job was two streets over from where I currently live. As a pay bump, and I would be able to travel, and I wouldn't have been doing a variety of different things. I would have been overseeing construction projects in the same way I was before. I wouldn't be doing construction defect litigation. So there are a lot of perks to it. Just I thought it was a better position for me. So I got an offer letter. I interviewed with multiple people. It was kind of unfortunate because when I had decided that I would want to come on board, the person had said that he was the direct hire. I would be his direct hire, but actually what ended up happening was I had to interview with quite a few people. I had to interview with 2 HR personnel, and then also a director, and so and then Matt, obviously. So yeah, that. So I guess I kind of just very early on in the line got the impression that what was told to me wouldn't always be the case. So when I got the offer letter, and we had agreed to me starting a start date, and then we had also agreed to, and this person had kept in contact with me, so I put in my resignation a week before the accident happened. I had 1 week to go with my old firm, and then I was going to start my new job a week later with the new firm. So that obviously didn't happen when the accident occurred, but I had kept in contact with the new firm with my friend, who is now the technical, or my old friend, I guess, was the technical director, and he had been going back and forth with me. We got pretty, we worked very well together at the previous firm, so, and right next to each other, our offices were right next to each other, so when the accident occurred, he stayed in contact with me, and all that stuff. I was constantly checking up, and I still wanted to keep the position open for me because it would seem like my re-entry back in the workforce might coincide with like a good time for them hiring. So we kept in contact, and then as soon as I got the offer letter from them, I interviewed with these 3 people. Then we had talked about doing a part-time schedule because I went on vacation to Sri Lanka, which is more just catching up with family after 18 years. And then I came back, and I was supposed to start pretty soon thereafter. And we were working on a part-time schedule because to work into the position, and also just workload-wise, as far as their projects and what they had in the pipeline, it would have just worked out well for us to start on a part-time basis. So that was the plan, especially because I have, obviously the criminal cases should be starting soon. I have to check on that. But I still have doctor's appointments, therapy, and stuff that enables a part-time schedule enables me to work a little bit better around things that I need to still get done as it pertains to the accident. So, long story short, yeah, everything was going good. I was anticipated to start working in about 2 weeks, and then I had gotten a request to come in to the office at 4:30 on a Friday, and with the owner wanted to meet me verbatim, and I have that all documented. It was not supposed to be an interview. I'd already had the offer letter. I was going in to talk about some plans that they had, meaning some building plans or some project plans, and then also for him to show his support for my accident, and the recovery and all that stuff. So that was all documented, And then I went in, and it was a different story. I got grilled for an hour. The owner didn't even know that I was an engineer, let alone who I was. It was bizarre. I got grilled, and then I was asked to role play and to pitch him on as if I were an employee of the company and I was trying to gain a new client who already uses another geotechnical engineer in this city. I wasn't applying for a sales job, so I had done technical sales before, and I've been put on the spot many, many times. As an female engineer in construction, you learn very early on how to hold your own. So when he asked me to role play with him, I did. And I think I nailed it. I had to do it in front of my friend, who was sitting there and was just as surprised as I was that he grilled me for about, I don't know, 10 minutes. And then finally afterwards, the owner was trying to talk to me about salary and such, and I just kind of interrupted him, and I just said, we've already kind of discussed this. It's worthy of a company party that you need to go to. And I don't mean to be rude, and we can discuss it further detail, but that's kind of already been out. The offer's already been offered to me, and I'm supposed to start in 2 weeks. So, because I wasn't brought in on the premise of thinking we were going to interview, so I didn't want to put too much out there for him to get involved. Plus, I was honestly caught off guard. I didn't bring a resume. I didn't bring anything to talk about my experience again. And we were in there for about an hour and a half, so it was stressful. I did go in with my cane. And I did feel, he was prying a lot about things. So, anyways, a couple weeks later, I'm checking in, or not a couple weeks later, a couple days later after that, and then maybe a week later, I was trying to follow up and trying to figure out, okay, we had to get the information on my offer letter revised to a later start date with the part-time stuff in it, and I wasn't getting that, so I had, long story short, yeah, all of a sudden I don't have a job anymore. And that was post the owner seeing me with my cane. So I don't know if he decided it was a liability or what. And that has been hard. I mean, through this recovery, I avoided looking for jobs when I was able to. It messes with your head too. I'm an engineer. I work outside. I can be in the field at times. I can travel. It's not just sitting behind a desk, and that's not the type of engineer I've wanted to do. I've gotten away from that. And so when that happened, that was a major blow to me. It's kind of like makes me second guess myself about what I can and can't do and how involved I can actually be in my profession. It's the first time I've ever had any kind of concern about my job. As an engineer, you typically come out of school and you have jobs thrown at you. You make decent money, and it's job security is never an issue. So when this thing happened with the cane, and they weren't upfront with me about what happened, to this day I don't even have any kind of formal statement regarding, hey, you don't have this job anymore. So yeah, I held out for a job that wasn't there in the end for me, and I'm not sure what to say. I mean, I just showed up with my cane and it was taken away. So, that's hard to deal with. I had other people wanting to talk to me or tell through the recovery, saying, hey, if you're looking for a job, let me know. Now we're at 10 months, so there were opportunities I probably had that I could have jumped on, but it's just an added dimension to the trauma that I'm already dealing with, to do with my physical recovery and my personal relationships that have gone awry with my family. And now it's this, so there's a lot going on that I'm dealing with, which is why I've been trying to, balance my time properly. I do read every day. I do write every day. I do a lot of things by myself every day because The second that you start sharing things with people, people have opinions and people that care about you want to put you on the right track. But in reality, the only person who can help you is yourself. And especially when there's so much going on, like a case like mine where I'm actually trying to adjust back into real life and I have keep coming across obstacles, but I really am the only one who's going to be able to help me get myself out of here or into a better situation because no one else can understand. And also, you shouldn't run to people to try to placate or help you in situations like this. I don't think it's the long-term effects of doing that end up boomeranging back, and when you are in a better space or when you do have things more settled because of other people's help, then you don't know how to navigate waters that are a little bit turbulent by yourself. And that's not my goal. I want to be able to be self-sufficient and really grow from this whole thing because it's changed my life and I want to make sure I'm on the right path to getting, to just being a better person and being more solid in myself. So add a dimension to everything going on is this work thing, which messes with my head. So I know everything will be okay in the end. Right now I'm just affording myself some time to study and to write so that it guarantees me when I am ready to go back and to whatever, at least I have an additional licensure that will help me guarantee me a certain salary. But it's definitely making me think hard about things. In order to do well, I'm someone who needs to have a platform that doesn't have a glass ceiling, doesn't have people condescending me, such as at my last firm, the owner would condescend everybody. And it wasn't just a cultural thing. I'm not from the United States, so it was definitely because he had an ego. So, anyways, that's about it. Thanks for watching.